الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي ليس لأوليته ابتداء ولا لأزليته انقضاء وانحصرت الأوصاف عن كنه معرفته وردعت عظمته العقول والذي لا تواري عنه سماء سماء ولا أرض أرضا ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على سيد البطحاء سيد المرسلين والأنبياء أبي القاسم محمد المصطفى
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى الجوهرة القدسية البتول العذراء سيدة النساء فاطمة الزهراء وعلى بعلها أمير المؤمنين وبنيها الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
لا سيما على بقية الله وحجته الكبرى الذي بيمنه رزق الورى وبوجوده ثبتت الأرض والسماء ولولاه لصاحت الأرض بأهلها واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من حين عداوتهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم وفرقانه المجيد ويؤثرون على أنفسهم ولو كان بهم خصاصة. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
We discussed those values of Quran and Ahlulbayt alayhim salam, and these nights, Thursday nights, as it's a long-standing tradition of our Asatir and Mushtahideen. On the Thursday night, they always talk about the akhlaqi and moral values. So I talked about the concept of it'am al-ta'am, feeding the food, the previous Thursday night, and tonight is the turn for concept of al-Eesaar. But before I come to that concept, there is something remaining about Saqi, Saqi al-Ma, which is related to it'am al-ta'am, feeding the food. Saqi al-Ma means providing the drink, providing the water. That's another value, which is a very small discussion right now, but it's worth to mention that and not to ignore it. Saqi al-Ma, feeding the water. That's a value in Islam. And this is a value which is absolute in its nature. We are supposed to provide water to anyone who is thirsty, be it an animal. Saqi al-ma liman yahtajuhu min makhluqatillah. That's how the scholars of akhlaq define the value. وَلَوْ كَانَ حَيْوَانًا, even though the thirsty thing is an animal, or طَائِرًا, or حَشَرَةً, or نَبَاتًا, or a bird, or an insect, or a plant. So it doesn't matter, even for plantations we have elaborate rules in Islam how to provide and take care for the plantations. Animals are definitely superior than the plantations. And one volume of Jawahir al-Kalam, in the previous lesson I talked about Jawahir al-Kalam, right? The biggest book of our fiqh. Sahib al-Jawahir rahmatullah alayh has dedicated one of his 56 volumes of the book. One of those volumes is dedicated to the rights of the animals in Islam. So we have elaborate rights of the animals defined in our fiqh. But so even if an animal is thirsty, we are supposed to provide water. Obviously humans are superior than animals. This is a hadith from Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam. where he says, إن الله يحب إبراد الكبد الحراء. Allah loves to feed a thirsty, you know, liver. But that's a literal translation. We don't translate things in the literal way. What is meant is someone who's thirsty. Allah loves to provide water to somebody who's thirsty. وَمَنْ سَقَى كَبِدًا حَرَّاء مِنْ بَهِيمَةٍ. And whoever provides water to a thirsty one, whether be it an animal, وَغَيْرِهَا, or anything other than animal, أَظَلَّهُ اللَّهُ فِي عَرْشِهِ يَوْمَ لَا ظِلَّ إِلَّا ظِلُّهُ. Allah is going to put the shadow of His earth, His arsh and throne, over him on the day where there is no shadow other than His shadow. So this is such a great and unique reward, that on the day of judgment where there is no shadow, you will be under the protection and shadow of Allah's throne, where only a selected few people will be there, just because you provided water to an animal or someone who's thirsty. Another hadith of Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam says that man saqa dham'anan ma'an saqahu Allah min al-rahiq al-makhtum. Whoever provides water to a thirsty person, Allah will provide him from the drink of paradise, which is called al-rahiq al-makhtum. Surah al-Mutaffifin. If you remember in Surah al-Mutaffifin, Allah talks about this drink. إِنَّ الْأَبْرَارَ لَفِي نَعِيمٍ عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ يَنْظُرُونَ تَعْرِفُ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ نَظْرَةَ النَّعِيمِ يُسْقَوْنَ مِنَ الرَّحِيقِ الْمَخْتُومِ. In the paradise, so the Abrar are in the blessings, sitting on their thrones and watching. عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ يَنْظُرُونَ. And you'll see on their faces when you look at the Abrar, those good doers, you see on their faces how they are happy with those blessings of Allah that have been given to them, and the happiness is visible from their faces. And so this is what we learned from the verse. And yusqawna min al-rahiq al-makhtum. They will be given the drink from al-rahiq al-makhtum. Al-rahiq al-makhtum is a drink of paradise, which is a special drink, untouched and pure. And it is al-makhtum, which means it's sealed with khitamuhu miskun. The next verse says it's sealed with musk. So this is a very great reward, that whoever provides water to a thirsty person, he will be given the drink of ar-rahiq al-makhtum. It's a very great thing. And then Allah has said in the Holy Quran, وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. That means those people who want to compete should compete towards getting these blessings. So when we do competitions with each other, Quran is asking us to compete with each other for the sake of acquiring ar-rahiq al-makhtum. If you are a real man and you want to enter into a real competition, what we need to compete with each other is actually about grabbing ar-rahiq al-makhtum from Allah. Who can deserve to get it? We need to compete with each other. Who is going to get it? This is where we need to compete with each other, instead of wasting our life in the things which are lahu and la'ib. And another hadith from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, as we are talking about the value of providing water to the thirsty, man saqal ma'a fi mawdi'in yujadu fihi al-ma' kana kaman a'taqa رَقَبَةً. Whoever provided a water in a place where water is available, it's a very good thing you provided water. But the water was available. He could have got it himself, right? But you provided, very good thing. So what's the reward? And you are just like the person who freed a slave. In Islam, freeing the slave is extremely high reward. Islam battled against slavery and wanted the society to get rid of this evil of slavery, enslaving the humans. And finally, Islam got rid of that, and there is no more slavery remaining today. Well, the slavery we have today is actually worse than the slavery of those days, where you find there are administrations and Zionist administrations were, enslaving nations after nations and destroying the innocent civilians in Syria and Yemen and Bahrain and Iraq and Afghanistan, and the list goes on and on, and Kashmir. And it's a long list. That's the worst kind of slavery going on today. So whoever provides water to a thirsty person in a place where water is found is just like the person who set a slave free. وَمَنْ سَقَى الْمَاءَ فِي مَوْضِعٍ لَا يُوجَدُ فِيهِ الْمَاءُ كَانَ كَمَنْ أَحْيَا نَفْسًا. Imam Saqi said, whoever provides water in a place where water is not available is just like the person who gave life. You made a person alive. Well, how much is the reward of giving life to a person? And then Quran has already said, وَمَنْ أَحْيَا نَفْسًا فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. So this is in the hadith that Imam said this. وَمَنْ أَحْيَا نَفْسًا. This part of the hadith, this derived and benefited from the words of Quran. وَمَنْ أَحْيَا نَفْسًا فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. Whoever gives life to a person is just like the person who, as if he has given life to the entire humanity. Also, when you are giving water to somebody, it's mustahab for the person that you are the last one. You are supposed to be the last person to drink yourself. It's part of the adab and etiquettes. Every minor etiquette has been taught in the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, لِيَشْرَبْ سَاقِ الْقَوْمِ آخِرُهُمْ. That means the one who provides the water to the people is supposed to be drinking in the end of the people. When everyone else ends up drinking, then you are supposed to drink. Don't try to drink the water first. If somebody asks water from you and I drink water first and then give it to the others, that's bad. It's against Islamic etiquettes. Give the water to them first, and then at the end you drink. This is how the etiquettes are. And we are coming to the concept of al-Eesaar, which is related to that. Syed al-Qawm khadimuhum wa saqihim akhiruhum shurban. That the leader of the nation is the servant of the nation. Imam Khomeini radwanullah alayhi used to say, if you call me a servant of the Ummah is better than you call me the Imam of the Ummah. Although he was the Imam al-Ummah, everyone, even the Maraji, call him al-Imam al-Khomeini. He's Abu Sahwat al-Islami. He's the father of all the Islamic awareness in the whole world. Imam al-Sadr has said, Ayatollah Baqir al-Sadr has said, Zuhu fil Imam al-Khomeini. Dissolve yourself in Imam. Everyone used to call him Imam Khomeini. Well, he deserves to be the leader, but he used to himself say, if you call me Khadim, servant, is better than calling me. This is tawadu. Sayyidul Qawm khadimuhum. Saqihim, and the one who provides the drink to them is the last one to drink. Inna rajula idha saqa imra'atahu ujira. If a man provides water to his wife, he gets rewarded. Well, that's another thing. Obviously, it's not wajib for the man to provide that. It's not wajib for the woman to provide water, for your wife to provide water to you, right? None of those two are wajib. It's not wajib on you to cook food for her, and also it's not wajib on her to cook food for you either. But when we live together, we do things for each other, going an extra mile, right? So if the man provides the water to his wife, he will be rewarded. Yeah, his wife had said in the interview after the death of Imam Khomeini, his wife was interviewed and she said that if I didn't close the door of the room, he never used to ask me to go and close the door. So he used to stand up himself, go and close the door, and come back and sit and do his job. So he never complained, never said anything. It's also narrated from his, family member that if his wife forgot to add salt in the food, he did not complain. When he started to eat, he found there's no salt. So what he did, he added salt into his wife's food instead of adding the salt into his food, because if he adds the salt in his food in front of the wife will feel embarrassed. So he added the salt in the food of his wife instead of adding it into his plate. These are very small things. It looks like small, but they are not small things. He is Ustad al-Urafa. Some of the students are the biggest arifs of today. So these people have high levels, high darajat. So إن الرجل إذا سقى امرأته أجرا. So okay, now let's go to the subject of today, which was Eesaar. Eesaar is defined as follows by the scholars of akhlaq. The definition first: هو أرفع درجات الجود والسخاء وهو أن يجود بالمال مع الحاجة إليه وهو تفضيل الإنسان غيره على نفسه. That's how it is defined in Ilm al-Akhlaq, that Eesaar means, first of all, it's the highest level of generosity, Jud and Sakha. And I talked about Jud and Sakha and the differences between the two in one of the previous lessons on these moral values. So Eesaar is the highest level of Jud and Sakha, and it means that a person ignores his own need and gives away the money, the wealth, to other for their needs. And Eesaar is giving preference, tafdeel al-insan, giving preference to others over your own self. This is one of the highest of the moral values. So all the values are great, but some of the values are of the highest level. Not all the values are of the highest level. They're all great, but some are of the highest level. And Eesaar is one of those moral values which are of the highest level. We call them makarimul akhlaq. Right? Makarimul akhlaq. So they are in the hadith of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. He says that he says in the hadith that al-Eesaar a'la al-makarim. Eesaar is the highest of the makarim. So this is not easy. May Allah give all of us the tawfiq to do that, to do all of these values. But this shows the person's batin is great. He is a great person. From the batin, he has some of the highest values that make us human beings. Feeding, like I said in the previous lesson, that feeding food to your own self or your own family members does not distinguish that you are a human being. Even the animals do that. You see the videos of how the lions and how the baboons and how the rhinos and elephants are giving food to their babies. Even the animals do that. Just because I earn some money and I provide for myself and my wife and kids is not the sign that I'm a human being. What this makes us humans is to give food to others and give preference to others. So this ayat of Quran, وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. This ayat is talking about the Eesaar, and this is the Sha'n al-Nuzul this ayat is revealed in the favor of Amir al-Mu'mineen and Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salatu wasalam. They do the Eesaar over their own selves, even though they have their needs, they had the need for themselves. They ignore their own need. They don't take care of their own need. They give preference to others and give away. When they gave away the food to a poor person and their own food, which was there for their night, their lunch, they gave away to the poor person. That's where this ayat was revealed in their favor. And the whole story, if you want to refer, it's there in Tafsir Nur al-Saqalain. And وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. And they feed the food on His love. حُبِّهِ, His love. His means Allah's love. مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا, to a destitute, an orphan, and a captive. So I talked about that, and I will talk a little bit more on this ayat tonight as well. This ayat definitely is revealed, the whole story I mentioned last time, in the favor of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyidah Fatima, wal Hasan wal Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. Before I come to some of the left out aspects of that event, let me first complete about talking some hadith on this subject. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said, "Man asara ala nafsihi asarahu Allahu yawm al-qiyamah al-jannah." Whoever gives preference over his own nafs, that means you give preference to others over your own self, Allah will give preference to him for towards the paradise. That means he's going to be he will be sent to the paradise. Eesaar lands you in the paradise. Also, al-Eesaaru a'la al-Iman. Eesaar is the highest of the Iman. So highest stage of the Iman is Eesaar. And another hadith says, Afdalus Sakha. The most superior of the generosity is Eesaar. Generosity is that you give away, you have a need, you keep things that you need for yourself, whatever is extra, you give it to others. You're not giving away things of your need to others. Things what you need for yourself, you keep with you. Whatever is extra, you give it to others. That's called generosity. The most superior level of generosity is Eesaar, that you ignore your own needs and give preference to others' needs over your needs. So, likewise, al-Eesaaru ashraful karam. So Eesaar is the most noblest of all the dignities. So things that make us dignified in the eyes of Allah, causes the karamat of the nafs before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Eesaaru ahsanul ihsan. I mean, this is such a great value that you find so much praise for this value in the hadith that it's mind-boggling to read how much Eesaar has been praised. You don't find that much praise for a lot of other values. So another hadith says a'la maratib al-iman, that's the highest level of iman. And al-Eesaaru sajiyatul abrar, that's the moral trend of abrar. Washimatul akhyar. Al-Eesaaru afdalu ibadatin, is the most superior worship. There's a story, one of the teachers was telling that a person was, he had a lot of money, so some poor guy showed up. He was about to start his prayers and he this poor person came and said, well, I stand in need of some money. And he said, okay, don't bother me. I'm about to start my Salatul Ghufayla. The Salatul Ghufayla is not even wajib on you to pray, it's mustahab. So helping out to a mu'min person who has actually arrived to you for help and you are able to help is, maybe thousands of times superior. God knows. Whole lot superior than praying your Salatul Ghufayla. So, al-Eesaar afdalu ibadatin. Eesaar is the most superior ibadat. And Imam Ali alayhi salam has said, La takmulul makarim. The makarim of akhlaq are not completed illa bil-ifaf wal-Eesaar, except through chastity and Eesaar. So when you have chastity in your character, iffat, and when you have Eesaar, that's how the makarim al-akhlaq gets completed. So, bil-Eesaar ala nafsika tamlikur riqab. What a beautiful statement. Through the Eesaar, over your own self, you become the owner of the people. You become the owner. Society feels obliged to you. You want the rest of the people to feel obliged towards you, and you are as if you are their owner. They operate under you. You want that kind of respect from the people? Learn to do Eesaar from them. You will earn that kind of respect. So now let's go to some of the stories. Well, obviously the first one is the same ayat of Ahlulbayt alayhim salam, Surah Al-Dahr, related to the Eesaar of Ahlulbayt. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. So Hassan and Hussein alayhim salam were sick. Imam Ali alayhi salam was told to do the nadhr for fasting, and he did the nadhr for fasting. So when Hassanain alayhi salam were cured, they got the shifa in order to fulfill the nadhr. Imam Ali alayhi salam and Sayyidah Fatima also, and Hassanain alayhi salam also, and Fidda salamullah alayha also, all of them fasted. And you know the story. And for 3 days, every day at the time of iftar, those miskeen and yatim and asir respectively showed up and they gave away their food. Now, the point here is that now when they gave away their food, obviously they had nothing to eat. They just drank water, narration says. They only drank water and slept. No food. So after 3 days passed by, no food. Hassan and Hussein were young children, young kids. They were extremely hungry. فأخذ علي عليه السلام الحسن بيده اليمنى والحسين بيده اليسرى وأقبل نحو رسول الله. Imam Ali grabbed with his right hand, grabbed Imam Hassan alayhi salam with his left hand. He grabbed Imam Hussein alayhi salam and he went to see the Prophet. وهم يرتعشون كالفراخ من شدة الجوع, and they were shivering. When you are extremely hungry, your body shivers. فلما بصر بهم النبي قال يا أبا الحسن ما أشد ما يسوءني ما أرى بكم. So Prophet saw this situation. He got so disturbed by looking at the situation of hunger of Hassan and Hussein alayhi salam. And then Prophet goes along with Imam Ali alayhi salam to Sayyidah Fatima in the house. فانطلقوا إليها وهي في محرابها تصلي. Sayyidah Fatima was were there in her mihrab and she was praying, despite the fact she was hungry for the last 3 days. وقد لصق بطنها بظهرها من شدة الجوع. her stomach was stuck to her back because of the severe hunger. When you had nothing to eat for so many days, obviously your stomach goes down, right? Goes inwards. فلما رآها النبي صلى الله عليه وآله قال وغوثاه. So Prophet is asking for the divine help. فهبط جبرائيل وقال خذ يا محمد. Jibreel alayhi salam descended and said to the Prophet, take, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. هنأك الله في أهل بيتك. So tahniyat and tabrik and congratulations from Allah about your Ahlulbayt alayhim salam. And this is where Jibreel brings the surah هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. The whole surah is revealed. Ahlulbayt alayhim salam are presented as the qudwa and uswa and role model for the humanity forever. And this is the level of respect that Allah has provided for Ahlul Bayt. Peace say salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Some of the narrations actually tell us that those people who came as miskeen and yatim, destitute and orphan and asir, a captive person who was recently freed, were actually angels. Some of the narrations actually mention the names of angels. This angel who came, this angel who came. For the great personalities, when they do these great things, Allah has His own ways of dealing with this matter. So Allah is sending the angels according to those narrations to receive those things. It's a barakat for those angels to receive the bread prepared by Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam. They love to receive that with the permission of Allah. The second incident, which is no less important, maybe even more important than this incident which I just mentioned, I think it's much more important, not just important, but much more important, is the Laylatul Mabit, the night of the stay of Imam Ali. Laylatul Mabit, that's the night when Prophet is migrating from Makkah to Medina, right? And he has those amanat and things of people with him, and he asks Imam Ali to take care of those amanat and entrusted things, and Prophet had to migrate. In the morning time, he got the command of Allah, he had to leave. So he asked Imam Ali to sleep on his bed. This is one of the greatest incidents in the history of humankind. One of a kind incident and one of a kind level of Eesaar that is displayed by Imam Ali alayhi salam. Rawa Abu Sa'id al-Khudri قال لما خرج رسول الله, when Prophet went out إلى الغار, towards the cave, أوحى الله عز وجل, Allah sent His revelation إلى جبرائيل وميكائيل, Allah sent His revelation to Jibreel and Mikael. إني قد آخيت بينكما, I have made you both brothers towards each other. Jibreel was made a brother to Mikael by Allah, so they are like brothers towards each other. فإني قد آخيت بينكما وجعلت عمر أحدكما أطول من عمر الآخر. I made the age of one of you two longer than the age of the other. Allah is not mentioning whose age is longer. Jibrail's age is longer or Mikael. Allah did not say that. Allah just said to them, to Jibrail and Mikael, I made you brothers, and age of one of you I made it longer than the other. فَأَيُّكُمَا يُؤْثِرُ صَاحِبَهُ بِالْحَيَاةِ. Which one among you two is ready to do Eesaar? Give preference to your companion about life. That means, are you ready to give away the long life you have to your brother, so he ends up having a longer life than you? Allah said to both of them, to Jibreel and Mikail, فَكِلَاهُمَا اخْتَارَ حُبَّ الْحَيَاةِ. Both of them chose the love of life for themselves. That means Jibreel was not ready to give away the extra age to Mikail, and Mikail was not ready to give the extra age to Jibreel. Now that this happened, فَأَوْحَى اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلْ إِلَيْهِمَا. Then Allah sent His wahi and commands both of them, أَفَلَا كُنْتُمَا مِثْلَ عَلِيِّ ibn Abi Talib. That means, I wish you were like Ali ibn Abi Talib. Allah is making the example of Imam Ali as a role model for Jibreel and Mikail to follow and obey. I wish you were like Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. أَخَيْتُ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ مُحَمَّدٍ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ. I made made Imam Ali and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam brothers towards each other. فَبَاتَ عَلَى فِرَاشِهِ يَقِيهِ بِنَفْسِهِ. So Ali is sleeping on his bed so that he can protect the Holy Prophet through his Imam Ali's life. He is sacrificing his life, putting his life in danger, because 40 of those tribes of Makkah ganged up together to kill the Holy Prophet. One person as a representative is sent by each of those 40 tribes, and these 40 people with their flashing swords are now about to enter into the house of the Prophet to attack the Prophet and kill him in the night time when he's sleeping. And Imam Ali is put into that spot, that place, the exact bed of the Prophet where they are supposed to attack and kill. فَبَاتَ عَلَى فِرَاشِهِ يَقِيهِ بِنَفْسِهِ أَهْبِطَ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ. Go down to the earth. Allah commands Jibreel and Mikail, فَحْفَظَاهُ مِنْ عَدُوِّهِ. And you both go and protect Imam Ali Islam from his enemy. فَكَانَ جِبْرَائِيلُ عِنْدَ رَأْسِهِ. Jibreel was standing next to the head of Imam Ali Islam. وَمِكَائِيلُ عِنْدَ رِجْلَيْهِ. Mikail was standing close to his feet. وَجِبْرَائِيلُ يُنَادِي. And Jibreel was saying, مَنْ مِثْلُكَ يَبْنَ أَبِي طَالِبٍ. Who is like you, O the son of Abu Talib? يُبَاهِ اللَّهُ بِكَ. That means there is no one in the entire humanity who is comparable to the azamat and highness of you, Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Yubahillahu bikal malaika. Allah is feeling proud through you over the angels. Wa anzalallahu azza wa jal fi haqqihi. And this is where Allah has sent this ayat of Holy Quran, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. So we learn in this light of this ayat that among the people there are some who sell their self. Imam Ali is selling his own self, his own life. ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ, so he can purchase the rida and pleasure, ridayat of Allah. So Allah's will has been purchased by Imam Ali salam by giving his life. Allah's will is to protect the Holy Prophet and protect his Rasul, his most superior Rasul and the most superior messenger, and to protect the message for the guidance of humanity that this messenger is providing for the humanity and for which he stands for, all the divine values and the Sharia. And this messenger needs to be protected at every cost. And Allah's will is executed by Imam Ali salam by sacrificing his own life to protect the greatest messenger. So not only Muhammadur Rasulullah survived, this Kalimatul Shahada survives because of Imam Ali salam, but actually Kalimatul Tawheed, La ilaha illallah, is surviving through Imam Ali salam's walayat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. There is no Eesaar in the history of humanity which can be compared to this incident. This is the biggest example of Eesaar in the humanity. So whoever is like this, he deserves to be the Imam of Kainat wa Sabitat. That's how we call him Imam al-Kainat wa Sabitat. So everything is revolving around him and his walayat. And the last story before I end is the story of the Ghazwa of Uhud, when there were, some narration says 7 people, some narration say 10 people. 7 people were injured in the battle, and 1 person was providing water. He came to the first person, and the first person, injured Muslim soldier, fallen on the ground, said, "Give water to this person." Next to him was another soldier fallen down who was thirsty. This guy who was feeding water, he went to him, he said, "Give him to that person." Another person who was next to him. He went to the next person. That next person said, "Give it to him." Another person. One by one, each of them transferred this water provider to the other one, giving preference to others over their own selves. So when you travel in the flights, I travel a lot, 5 travels per month, right? They announce every day. Now I have memorized their announcements. They announce in every flight, you know. If you are sitting in the exit row, they say that children under 15 are not supposed to sit here in the exit row. And if the temperature, if the oxygen level goes down, then you will find the oxygen mask falling down from the panels. So put your own mask first before helping others. That's how they say it. Right? In Islam, we have exactly the opposite. If you ask Islam, put the oxygen mask for others first before putting on your own self. Because our religion teaches us Eesaar. That's the way it is. May Allah. So these 7 people transferred the water provider to the other guy next to them, and he went to the 7th person, and the 7th person said, "Go and give it to the first person first." And he comes back to the first person again. And by the time he comes back to the first person, he died. And then he goes to the second person. And by the time he reaches the second person, he died. And then he goes to the third person. By the time he reaches the third person, he also died. By the time he goes to the fourth, he died. All of the 7 died by the time they reached. These things may not be understood by those who have kufr and nifaq. It requires iman to understand these things. In Islamic value system, these 7 people are successful. Why? Because they uphold the divine value of Eesaar, giving preference to other mu'mineen over your own self to please Allah. And that's the sign of our success, to please Allah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ya Allah, 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 Ya Allah. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين واخذل الكفار والمنافقين. اللهم انصر من نصر الدين واخذل من خذل المسلمين. اللهم انصر واحفظ وأيد علماءنا الربانيين ومراجعنا الربانيين، لا سيما الولي الفقيه قائد المسلمين. اللهم انصر جيوش المسلمين وعساكر الموحدين. اللهم فك عن الأسراء المسلمين. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى، وعجل في فرج مولانا صاحب الزمان، واجعلنا من أنصاره وأشياعه وأتباعه وأعوانه بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. Ayat al-Karima 5 times for all the mu'mineen and mustad'afeen and mahroomin and mazloomin in the Islamic Ummah, especially those who have requested for dua, those who are sick, those who have requested for dua. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أمن يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء اللهم صل على محمد.